Today we're gonna rank Goblin cards for an hour or more, and here's the deal. So anything with the word Goblin in it is all fair game to me. Liquid Soulfly is like, I swear we've done this topic before. We haven't. You go look for that Goblin tier list video. It doesn't exist. I'm going to start off with Fanatical Firebrand, a red 1/1 Goblin Pirate with haste. Tap, sacrifice Fanatical Firebrand. It deals 1 damage to any target. It's almost like, I don't know, an improved Mog Fanatic for today's world, because Mog Fanatic, well, I mean, it's hard to say it's improved. This little guy got haste, all right? So I'm going to peck in for at least 1 point of damage. I remember getting beat down by this guy in Historic at the time, but I guess it's not quite what it used to be, but it still pings off the 1 toughness creatures if that exists in your format. All that being said, Fanatical Firebrand, I think you are a pretty underwhelming pirate and also a gobbo, and for that reason, I'm going to put you in the C tier. You're okay, you know, you're a little bit, in standard you'd be fine. So S tier is like the top tier of the goblins. A tier is still competitive, but not quite busted. B tier is somewhere in the middle, and this is just a little bit below average here. And then the D tier is just absolute damn garbage. D for damn garbage. Okay, let's go with Bean Pots, Goblin Balloon Brigade. Goblin Balloon. Remember, goblins don't fly, but they have all sorts of ways of getting themselves aerial. Okay, we have a red 1/1 Goblin Warrior. Gains flying until end of turn for a red. Garbage. I'm not satisfied with that card at all. I think that's a little bit... Actually, do you know what? I might even upgrade... So here's the problem. Here's my problem. I think this is strictly worse than this other guy. Oh, I'm just putting this D tier. No mercy. No mercy for this trash. Absolute none. It's a 1/1 that I can pay 1 more mana to give flying, which isn't even all that relevant for the goblins. Okay, we got Bulky with the Mog Squad. Is it double D? No, it's a single D. The Mog Squad, red, 1 generic for 3/3. Mog Squad gets -1/-1 for each other creature in play. That is also just trash. This is trash. You know, you learn about this in the history books, but you don't actually see it in practice because no one exists. Like, this is fine, I guess, for a deck that doesn't have any creatures, and your opponents don't have any creatures, for each other creature on the battlefield. So your opponents can't have creatures. You can't have creatures. That's bad synergy in a goblin deck. Imagine putting that in your Muxus thing. It would just die instantly. Okay, what do we got? Our first super chat from Jess. Krenko Mob Boss. Krenko knows how to get it done. Show me yourself, Krenko. Yeah, to talk a little bit more about Mog Squad. This came out in Tempest. What, they had no creatures back then? How did they ever thought that was a good idea? Okay, we got red 2 generic for a 3/3 Goblin Warrior. Tap, create X 1/1 red goblin creature tokens, where X is the number of goblins you control. And certainly you at least have some goblins. They're really good on defense. They're really good on attack. If you have haste enabled by some means, Krenko goes wild. If you can untap your Krenko, also goes wild. Truth be told, never super top tier competitive, but a very, very good card. Very dangerous if left completely unchecked. I've died to Krenko many times myself. Absolutely hate facing down this card. He displays a perverse charisma fueled by avarice, whatever that means. Highly dangerous. Recommend civil sanctions. They're going to sanction Krenko. Krenko is an A tier card. Very, very good. Not exactly super busted, but very, very strong. If you're playing a goblin deck without Krenko, you're crazy. Absolutely crazy. Let's get some heavy hitters out of here. Markzilla with the Muxus. I need like, oh, you know what I need? I need a... Okay, apparently I spelled Muxus completely wrong. I need like a Darth Vader sound effect for like the big boogeyman cards of Magic the Gathering. Muxus Goblin Grandee. Red 4 generic for a 4/4 Goblin Noble. All that means nothing, because this is the only thing that matters. Muxus Goblin Grandee enters the battlefield. Reveal the top 6 cards of your library. Put all Goblin cards Creature cards with converted mana cost 5 or less from among them onto the battlefield, which will be anything except other Muxuses. And the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And when Muxus attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each other goblin you control. Effectively, if a Muxus enters the battlefield, your opponent is absolutely stone dead. I mean, they have no chance. I don't know how many times I've survived a Muxus. You also have to... We have no music. I am so sorry, everyone. The music is back. Okay, we got music. We got music and we got Muxus. We got everything. Like, unless you kill your opponent immediately the very next turn and your opponent has a really bad Muxus, like, you're just basically not surviving this thing. Muxus is an S tier card, an multi-format all-star. Easy S tier. I probably deserved a bigger picture. Sorry about that, Muxus. Let's go on with Robert's Mog War Marshal. It's a funky boy. It is a funky boy. Okay, we're red 1 generic, 1/1 Goblin Warrior with Echo. A red 1 generic. When it enters the battlefield or dies, create a 1/1 red Goblin creature token. So the cool thing about this thing is it's almost like a token generator, like a raise the alarm type of card. You could pay the Echo. Most people don't. They just let it die and you get another 1/1 creature. So for 2 mana, you get 2 creatures. Not amazing, not terrible. It's actually sometimes been presented in some decks that are not Goblin decks. I will give this honorary B tier. This is sort of in a middle ground of Goblin cards. I hope I'm not going to embarrass the Goblin community. They're gonna be looking really hard at my rankings. They're gonna judge away, Goblin community, the Goblin gang out there. Lion Tamer with Doretti. This is this guy. You want the Scrap Savant. Okay. Doretti Scrap Savant. Red 3 generic, 3 loyalty, Doretti, +2, discard up to 2 cards. Draw that many cards. Or else you can go -2, sack an artifact, anything on the battlefield. If you do, return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. And then -10, you get an emblem with, when an artifact is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, return that card to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. Actually, that's funny, because if that is true, then the -2 becomes useless after that. But I guess you don't need to. You can just keep sacking the artifact. The artifact keeps coming back, just like the cat came back the very next day. What can I say about this card? I actually can't evaluate this card. I have no good idea how good or bad it is in Commander. I think this ability is busted, though. The sack artifact, return artifacts from your graveyard to the battlefield. So that looks good to me. I'll give it A tier. It's possible this is an S tier card, and I just have not seen it in play in Commander. But, like, it's cheap. Like, it's cheap. It doesn't cost that much. You get to rummage as much. No, this is looting. You got Faithless looting every damn turn. Loyalty goes straight to 5. That's not bad at all. All right, next super chat, we're going to look at Stormwind. Flame Wave Invoker. If you have the spare mana. Flame Wave. Flame Wave Invoker, 3 mana for a 2/2 Goblin Mutant. You have 8 mana. It deals 5 damage to target player or planeswalker. That is burn at... What is this guy's job? It's like someone who, I don't know, exterminates wasps for a living, and they're like, you know what? I hate my job. We're going to exterminate everybody. Flamethrower this. Flame Wave Invoker. D tier. I hate it. Okay. Maybe, is this card better than I think it is? Because as was mentioned, if you have the mana to spare, but also if you have infinite mana. Like, if you can create infinite mana, this could be a combo card. Okay, I don't know. I'll give it C tier, because it has combo potential. Like, it could be comboed off with another card to kill you, like everybody in one shot. Because it does go straight for the players. Go straight for their throats. Richard Smith, honorary E. What, E tier for what? What does the E tier stand for? Okay, Goblin. Whoops. You guys moving fast with the chat. Goblin Ringleader. Ringleader. I wish there was a merfolk for it like this. We have a red 3 generic 2/2 Goblin with it has haste for no reason. It doesn't even need the haste. Enters the battlefield, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all Goblin cards revealed this way into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Amazing card. 4 mana, refill your hand. It's like it's not exactly a Harbinger, but, you know, you play with a Goblin dense deck, it's going to be good stuff. Every Typal deck has the same problem. You run out of cards, but thanks to Goblin Ringleader, you will not. A tier. Very good, strong card. Very competitive, too. A lovely card. Anyone would play that card. Okay, Alpha Nerd. Lightning Crafter. We have a red 3 generic 3/3 Goblin Shaman. Champion a Goblin or a Shaman. You need, well, comes into play, sacrifice unless you remove another Goblin or Shaman you control from the game. I don't want to do that. Okay, tap Lightning Crafter, deals 3 damage to target creature or player. I don't like it. I think the chant like this, the odds, they're not good. Doesn't have haste. There's a problem. Like, maybe it's not that big of a deal because you could just sack a Goblin. Unless you remove another Goblin or Shaman you control from the game. But if you sack the token, it won't come back. I'm not in love with anything where you have to sack another creature to make this thing good. I'm going to put in the D tier. Too much work. Too much work. Too high risk. Also, if they remove your creature in response and you have only 1 creature, that thing's dead. I mean, it's just stone gone. That was the problem with the fairy decks. They're like, oh, champion this, champion that. This is great. Way outside of standard, it's trash because everyone has so much removal. All right, everyone's yelling for the Goblin King. Goblin King. It's like a Goblin King. Now, I love this card. I love this card because it combos so great with Blood Moon. Other goblins you control, other goblin creatures get +1/+1 and have a Mountain Walk. So not the ones that you control, actually old goblins. This will help the other goblin players as well. It's a 3 mana 2/2. And hey, evasion is the name of the game. Usually the evasion for goblins is they just have as many goblins as they can on the battlefield and go wide. But I like the whole idea of basically having unblockable goblins. Yes, unblockable! So that if you don't have many goblins on the battlefield, you're still chipping away for damage. That being said, the goblin community and also goblin players, they don't like Goblin King that much. I like Goblin King. I'm a fan. But I have to say, competitively, it's not getting the spotlight it deserves. So I'm putting it in B tier. I think it's a good card. I think you just have to change how you make your goblin deck. I think I got like a 3. It's not very impressive, but I got a 3/2 once with like a Goblin King Blood Moon deck before. What is this? The Goblin Gathering. We got a red 2 generic sorcery. Create a number of 1/1 red goblin creature tokens equal to 2 plus the number of cards named Goblin Gathering in your graveyard. Totally useless in Commander. Also not very good in Constructed Magic. You would need like a lot of Goblin Gatherings. It's just 3 mana, make 2 creatures. So you need at least 1 Goblin Gathering in your graveyard to make it worth it. D tier. Next super chat, we've got Alpha Nerd with Dockside Extortionist. You just have to say Dockside Extortionist and people are just cringing immediately. Extortion. Extorting your brain. Red 1 generic 1/2 Goblin Pirate enters the battlefield. Create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control, which obviously... So it's basically, it's a 2 mana ritual attached to a goblin. Because when you're playing this commander, what are the odds that nobody has, like, artifacts? And also, if your opponent has a bunch of treasure... So this is, if I am not mistaken, if your opponent has a bunch of treasure tokens, which are artifacts, and you just make that many more treasure tokens. So it's like... Oh, you played a Dockside Extortionist? This is great. Oh, I guess, like, they could sack their treasures in response, but then they don't get the value out of it. Dockside Extortionist is absolutely busted. Crazy card. What a world we live in these days. It'd be Goblin. Mr. Deadhead with the Snoop. Conspicuous Snoop to you. Red 2/2 Goblin Rogue. Play with the top card of your library revealed. You may cast Goblin spells from The top of your library. As long as the top card of your library is a Goblin card, Conspicuous Snoop has all activated abilities of that card. So this has good combo potential because it can become, what's it called? Kiki Jiki. And then copy, well, anyway, you can put Kiki Jiki on top of your library and just combo off your Conspicuous Snoop. It can be card advantage if you have enough goblins in your deck. What else does it do? That's about it. Whenever I play with Conspicuous Snoop, I find that this is like one of the clunkier cards in the deck. I don't know how to evaluate this card. It's either A or S, but I think it's actually somewhat fair. You can interact with it quite a bit. So I'm gonna give it A tier. I could be wrong about this one. Like, this is because Snoop honestly is a staple to like every Goblin deck. Like, I don't know a Goblin deck that does not play Conspicuous Snoop. You know what? Maybe we should give it S tier, even though it's like easy to interact with. It's got combo potential. Can draw you out of like an empty hand. It's a good thing. It's a good stuff. Feedy Fox with Gutter Snipe. Have you just started playing the game before? Would you like to win by casting spells and dealing damage to your opponents? Well, maybe Gutter Snipe is the card for you. A red 2 generic 2/2 Goblin Shaman. If you cast an instant or sorcery, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. So it's like no Goblin synergy whatsoever. None. It's meant for like a spell-based deck. And then, even if you play a spell-based deck, like, this is very vulnerable. They will kill this thing in response to your spells. I mean, ideally, unless they're playing like no removal, which they might be doing in Commander. Imagine dying to a Gutter Snipe. I would feel embarrassed. I think this is... Okay, I'll give it C tier. Like, it's not completely useless, but it's not good. Like, it's got an idea behind it. It can do things. It can kill your opponent. If your opponents have no removal, honestly, the Gutter Snipe probably will win. The Gutter Snipe deck. Next super chat, we've got Trip Tatum. Goblin Arsonist. Was made for Goblin Grenade, I think. Also, I think it will be our first D tier. No, I don't think so. It's a red 1/1. When it dies, you may have it deal 1 damage to any target. It is pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. I really have nothing to say about this. It's really a 1/1 that sort of explodes upon death. Punch it hard enough, and then it like blows up like a small grenade. Anyway, thank you very much for your super chat. Okay, next, you're getting super sniped. Oh, let's do some super chats. So people, okay, let me just take a look at the super chats. Okay, I have an idea of what's coming up. So we'll do Jacob Thune with Raid Bombardment. This is not a strictly Goblin card. A creature, no, not counting. It's got, at the very least, oh, it has Goblin in the flavor text. Okay. Whenever a creature you control with power 2 or less attacks, Raid Bombardment deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker that creature is attacking, and it's 3 mana. It's not bad. It's not bad. You playing in a Goblin deck, it will deal some free damage, some free extra damage. C tier. It's not bad. Okay, Alpha Nerd again with Goblin Matron. Alright, we got a red 2 generic 1/1 Goblin. Enters the battlefield. You may search your library for a Goblin card, reveal that card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Have any of you heard of Demonic Tutor? Perhaps you've heard of things like Imperial Recruiter. Recruiter rhymes with tutor. I didn't realize that. That is not... that is, what's it called? That can't be a coincidence. For that reason, Goblin Matron is absolutely... I wouldn't say it's absolutely broken, but it's incredibly strong. Because you play Goblin Matron, which is not... You know what? Random 1/1 for 3 mana is fine in Goblins if you get the card that you desperately need. So we're gonna put that... I think it's an S tier card. I think every Goblin deck plays Matron. Prove me wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. LOL at the technicality of Raid Bombardment. If it didn't have Goblins in the flavor text, I would have stone cold got rid of it. Okay, let's get a free one from the chat. Oh, the Skirk stand with Skirk Prospector. 1 mana, 1/1, sack a goblin, add a red mana. This thing is broken, actually. I think this is insane. I don't know what to compare this to because it's sort of a unique card in itself. And of course, the goblins. You know, we were looking at that Mog War Marshal. You play Mog War Marshal, and when it dies, you get a token, so you can sack that for mana, get an extra creature on the battlefield, and sack those for mana, ramp into your... That's how they hardcast Muxus. This is just a bunch of free mana in itself. Card, I think it's insane. I think this card is absolutely bonkers. I think it's an S tier card. I mean, I look at Skirk Prospector like Soul Ring, to be honest. This creature can fit so much mana in it. That's how I look at Skirk Prospector. It's Goblin Ramp. And it's, I mean, the ramp, you know, the creature deck that's supposed to ramp is like elves. Like, that's supposed to be their thing. And Goblins, I think, does it better. I think it does it better, more efficiently. And, like, there's a bunch of Goblins with death triggers, so they don't even care. Liquid Soulfly says, Skirk Prospector with the Putrid Goblin is insane. Is it? No, it isn't. You get you get 2 triggers out of this. You have a black, 1 generic, 2/2. It persists. It happens only twice. I mean, it's value. I'm gonna put that in C tier. I've seen worse. I don't think it's that good either. Next super chat, we've got the Goblin Flectomancer, whatever the hell that is. Goblin Flecto. The Flectomancer. It's a blue goblin, blue-red. 2/2 Goblin Wizard. Sack Goblin Flectomancer. You may change the targets of target instant or sorcery spell. I don't like it. I'll tell you why. Because there's 0 surprise value. For as long as this thing's on the battlefield, like, someone will just kill it before they need to really do the thing that they want to do. I like the ability, don't get me wrong, but, like, it's going to be just so hard to pull off. If anything, it's just, this creature is just going to be like a removal magnet. I'm going to put in the D tier. I love the ability, but, like, these types of abilities are useless if they're face up. It's like no one will do anything until they kill the Goblin Flectomancer, which will be quickly. Goblin Flectomancer are going to be around for like 2 seconds and be dead, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, maybe there's some strategic significance to that. Maybe if people, like, maybe if there's not that much removal, like, people are more patient with their cards because they have to wait for the Goblin Flectomancer to get off the battlefield. King Ginger with the Vexing Shusher. Can't remember. That's the Goblin things cannot be countered. The green. It's the Green Goblin! Any Spider-Man fans out there? Huh? Anybody? No? Okay, hybrid Gruul 2/2 Goblin Shaman. The spell can't be countered. Also, for a Gruul, target spell can't be countered. It's okay. Like, it's probably like a good card to have in your commander deck. Competitively, one-on-one, not so hot. It would have to be a very narrow format. Like, because the thing is, like, 1 Cavern of Souls and your stuff is uncountable anyway. 1 Ether Vial and your stuff is uncountable anyway. Although you can make spells uncounterable. Oh, it's target spell. You could also actually this might be better in Commander. Because in Commander, you could target anybody's spell. You can get other people to resolve their spells through one dickhole's counter spells. So I guess that's one advantage to Vexing Shusher. If the control player at the board trying to counterspell something, you're like, no! You're going to say no to their no. Control player, no. And then guy with Vexing Shusher, no. You think this is an A? The Vexing Shusher? I don't know. Maybe it's worth more than I'm giving it credit for. You guys think it's an A card? Alright, I'll give it A. Commander better be carrying that card, though. Nicholas's Wave of Indifference had goblins in the flavor. Oh, come on! If this doesn't have goblin synergy, X target creatures can't block this turn. I don't even want to bother rating this card. This card is just bad. Kevin! Skirk Fire Marshal. The Skirks. What are Skirks? Like, I don't know the lore to the goblins. Are they some sort of mountain goblin? Red 3 generic for a 2/2. Pro red. That's weird. Protection from their own goblins. Tap 5 untap goblins you control. Skirk deals 10 damage to each creature. What? And each player, so you blow up your own goblins. Should at least give protect, like it should be all non-goblin creatures. He's boss because he's smart enough to get out of the way. I guess, okay, so the flavor text checks out. I don't like it. I guess you could, okay, it's each creature and each player, so it could kill you. I was thinking maybe you could activate it like several times, like tap 20 creatures, deal 40 to everybody, but then you die as well. That's not good. Okay, I don't like this card. D tier. I don't even like the potential of this damn thing. Okay, next super chat we've got from Rated Lex. Goblin Wizard. No swords to plowshares for you. You're a wizard goblin. Red 2 generic 1/1 Goblin Wizard. Tap. You may put a goblin permanent card from your hand into play. I like that. And red target goblin gains protection from white until end of turn. Won't save you from Supreme Verdict, but it will save you from all the other stuff. I like the card. Good for Commander, though. Okay, I'll give it an A tier. I like the whole, let's just put like a random... Like, and what's the cost? It's just tap. Just tap, show and tell your goblins in play at instant speed. That's just absolutely nuts. Emil is like, is Goblin Sharpshooter been mentioned yet? Nope. Oh, this guy. This is the combo card. Red 2 generic 1/1 Goblin. Doesn't untap during your untap step. When a creature dies, untap Goblin Sharpshooter. Tap Goblin Sharpshooter deals 1 damage to target creature or player. I can't remember all the combos that are work with this card, but you like anything that can untap this thing and then tap it, and whatever it deals damage, make it untap again. You can go infinite with this card. That being said, it's all jank. They're all jank combos. They're convoluted to make work. So we will just give this B tier. It's got like some potential there. It's not crap, but it's not great. Goblin Sharpshooter is the most fun meme card ever. Yeah. So what is this? It's not even going to shoot anything. Like what? He's going to pull the trigger and the mallet's going to hit the guy's head? And it's only worth 1 ping of damage. Give him a little bit of a concussion there. Can we use AI-created goblins? Absolutely not. Definitely not. I can't find them. Why? Because I can't find them on Scryfall. Somebody with Cairn Wanderer. Cairn Wanderer. Okay, we got a red 4 generic 4/4 shapeshifter with changeling. As long as a creature card with flying is in a graveyard. Well, this is a shapeshifter. No, it's not. Count. Get out of here. There's not a goblin. Okay, goblin recruiter, goblin welder. So you're like one of these. One of these absolutely must. Okay, goblin welder. Now, goblin welder, amazing goblin card. Not, however, in regular goblin decks. It's actually for painter decks. So Goblin Welder, a red 1/1, Goblin Artificer. Tap, choose target artifact a player controls and a target artifact card in that player's graveyard. It's basically going to look at themselves. And if both targets are still legal as the ability resolves, the player simultaneously sacrifice. You're just switching them around, all right? You switch the artifact and play with the artifact in the graveyard. Great in painter decks. They can use this for Painter Servant, Grindstone, exchange some crappy artifact in play for one of the important artifacts in the graveyard, and then combo off. So it's also can be a tutor. So if you use any card that searches your library for artifacts and dumps them in your graveyard, you can then, again, switcheroo them over and over again. And there's like no cost to this. You do this every single turn if you want to. Every single turn. Goblin Welder is broken and is definitely S tier worthy. Repeatedly using artifacts in your graveyard, too strong. Although Goblin players may not agree because I don't think Goblin players use this card ever. What is this? 20 years played this card wrong? Really? Was there like a different errata or something? Okay, we're going to look at more Goblin cards, but before we do that, we got to thank our sponsor, FusionGamingOnline.com, the first place I go to get all my own Magic the Gathering cards. And guess what? For everyone watching live, you got 48 hours to take advantage of a 20% off all Magic singles and accessories sale. You heard it here first. 20% off all Magic singles for the next 48 hours. I don't think you can use my coupon code, but if you're watching this after the sale is done, you can use my coupon code to get an additional 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. Want to play some Commander online? They got one-on-one Commander. I've played it before. 4-on-4 is a bit, or sorry, 4-player Commander is a bit awkward there, but it's possible. Some people do that. You can play an unlimited number of decks when you're renting with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_XQJ. Back to Goblin World. The Gobbos. Alex with Slow Bad Goblin Tinkerer. What the hell is that? Slow Bad. Okay, 2 mana, 1/2, sack an artifact. Target artifact gains indestructible until end of turn. It's unique. It's interesting, but I don't know why you, as a Goblin player, you need to make this make your artifacts indestructible. Huh. I have no idea how to evaluate this card. I'm gonna give it just like B tier. I see the potential in this card. Also, maybe you need to sack your artifacts for some sort of synergy. But I'm taking a shot in the dark here. Like, this is one of those cards you have to see it to believe it. Just looking at this card, like, maybe it does nothing. But maybe in the right deck, it's just busted. Larry La with Zozu, the Punisher. Okay, hold on. This will be the last freebie one. I gotta look at some of the super chats. Zozu! This one, like, what, doesn't it punish you for, like, having lands or something to that effect? Red, 1 generic for a 2/2 Goblin Warrior. Whenever a land enters the battlefield, Zozu the Punisher deals 2 damage to that land's controller. Don't play lands. It's the only, so play artifacts. Looks very strong and annoying as a commander. Very, very strong. I like the picture too. 10 out of 10 picture. Oh, the new picture is way better than the old picture. Zozu! Very strong effect. Very frustrating effect. I'm gonna give it A tier. I like the name too. 10 out of 10 card. Okay, let's get to Stormwind. Oops, that's not a good super chat sound. Let's get classic. The Raging Goblin. I played against that card so many times. My friend had a red deck. Where's the original? I want the original Raging Goblin. Yep. No, I didn't see that one. Sorry. This one. Saw this all the time. The stupid, ugly face of this goblin. It's because of this guy's face that I didn't have a good appreciation for the art in Magic the Gathering way back in the day. 1 mana, 1/1, haste. That's it. Today, by today's standards, this is absolute garbage. And still, I will put in the D tier. Doesn't deserve the light of day. But back then, like, they didn't have as many goblins to work with, so I mean, it was pretty good. Man, Goblin decks have gone a long way. Actually, this wasn't even a Goblin card back then. It was just like a red deck wins type card. I might have gotten retroactively banned from the list. What do you mean banned from the list? Zada, just in case. Zada, which I'm guessing this one. The Grinder, Hedron Grinder. Grind Hedrons? We have a red 3 generic 3/3 Goblin ally. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only Zada Hedron Grinder, copy the spell for each other creature you control that the spell could target. Each copy targets a different one of those creatures. This is terrible. I don't like this card. I don't like any... Like, if you have to fill your deck with cards that target your own creatures, I guess you could make this the commander, so you definitely get to pull that off. But I don't... I think that's a very poor ability. I don't know. Actually, I do know. Because you could... It's very easy to play around, right? Whenever you cast a spell that targets only... Oh, no, it'll trigger no matter what happens to Zada. If you kill Zada in response, it doesn't matter. Think this is powerful? I think it's weak, but powerful. It's one of those things that... It's good. Way better than D tier. Alright, you like this? Here, C tier. You satisfied? You satisfied, Goblin community? The Gobbos? The Gobbo gang? Okay, Toads wants Auntie's Hovel. Didn't I just get one from you? Oh, a land! Comes into play, you may reveal a Goblin card from your hand. If you don't, Auntie's Hovel comes into play tap to add a red or black to your mana pool. If I'm not mistaken, this is like a staple in most black-red Goblin decks. For now, it's S tier. It might go down as they print more Goblin cards out there, because I could definitely see this card getting pushed out one day. But, you know, it's effectively like a Badlands for the Goblins decks. And Badlands are pretty good cards. Okay, we got the Bactar with Brash Taunter. Oh, this stupid combo card. Okay, we have a red 4 generic 1/1 indestructible. When it's dealt damage, deals that much damage to target opponent. You can also pay 3, tap, Brash Taunter fights another target creature. The fact that it's indestructible gives it the jank Mimi combo potential. B is for big meme. Big meme cards. This is the Goblin King's a meme card, the Sharpshooter's a meme card, Brash Taunter's a meme card. All the memes. Okay, let's get through Richard Smith Goblin, Shane Whirler. I hate this card. It dominated me. Red, 3/3, first strike. Enters the battlefield. It deals just like it just deals 1 damage to each opponent, each creature that and planeswalker they control. Again, like 1 toughness creature hate. Why are they doing this? I think it saw a little bit of play in Modern. I could be mistaken. Maybe it didn't. But it's a pretty good card. It's a good card. You know, it's a pretty good card, but pushed out by power level. I'll give it B tier. Give it some B tier respect. It was good in. I think it was good in Historic as well. It was good in Standard, good in Historic. All right, next. Let's look at Ryan's Bogart Mob. Black 3 generic for a 5/5. What's going on over here? This guy's lazy or something. Champion a Goblin. Already looking bad. Okay, whenever a Goblin you control deals combat damage to a player, you may put a 1/1 black Goblin rogue creature token into play. It's a 5/5 creature. But I don't like the Champion a Goblin thing. Does anyone play with these cards? Okay, I'll give it C tier. I could see a commander deck playing this card. It's like, it's a big chunker. But very unnecessary. Next super chat, King Ginger. Goblin Bombardment. Best sack outlet in the game. Arguably, yes. Very close. Maybe Krarkline Ironworks competes, but it's a red 1 generic enchantment. You sack a creature. Okay, Goblin, goodbye. That's the sound every Goblin makes as they get slung out. Okay, Goblin Bombardment deals 1 damage to any target. Not even Goblin players play this. You know, we've seen this in zombie decks, sometimes vampire decks, or anything with some sort of recursion. This card is incredibly good. It can, and because it can target anything, you can kill creatures, and then when the moment is right, you just go straight to your opponent's face. So this is quite a good card. Where am I gonna put it though? I'll give it A tier. I don't want to say it's S tier because like it's not a must card in every single deck, but it's a very strong card. Henrik got destroyed by Goblin Bombardment in draft. What is the missed opportunity? Was that a card? No, that is such card does not exist. Reference to something else. Nola! Bogart Shenanigans! Shenanigans! Oops, I didn't spell shenanigans right. Sounded like an oh, is it an unset? No, it's not an unset. This is a real card. 3 mana, tribal enchantment, Goblin. Whenever another Goblin you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may have Bogart Shenanigans deal 1 damage to target player. So it's like the opposite of Goblin Bombardment. It's like, okay, if you don't sack the creature. If the creature dies, you deal 1 damage. I don't love this card though, because you can't force your stuff to die. I will. You know what? I'm gonna give it a B tier. It actually is sort of strong. So like, you block my creatures and let my stuff trigger, or you don't. It's possible that it's weaker than it looks, or it's I see some potential here. I see some potential here. Okay, Alphamus Prime with Empty the Warrens. This is another one of those Goblin Storm card. Red 3 generic sorcery. Create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. You would think, well, what's so impressive about that? 4 mana for 2 1/1s? That's pathetic. Except as Storm. And one of the most played combo cards in all of Magic the Gathering. It's usually a sideboarded card. So like, if you go after the combo players like Plan A, their Plan B is just like ritual bunch of crap and then empty the Warrens for victory. Just put like just 10 goblins, like, alright, deal with this. Well, your anti-combo cards do nothing here. S tier card. Is it banned? Is it banned in like Pauper? Yeah, it's banned in Pauper. Just for that reason. It's funny, just like turn 2, put like 12 1/1s in play, or even 8 1/1s in play. Sometimes just gets the job done. Empty the Warrens could work in a Goblin deck. Probably not. Alright. Polarity with a gigantic super chat, donating 10 for this combo. Okay, Goblin, Chiru, something origin, and Passless Mons. Insane when you have Gob tokens from other cards or Krenko. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome, Polarity. Apparently you're a Goblin fan. Okay, we have a red 0/2, sack a Goblin, regenerate target creature. I like this. It's a sack outlet, and randomly you can sack garbage to protect your better creatures. So actually, I like Goblin Shigurigin thing. Yo, what the hell? He's cutting off the leg. I don't know how that has anything to do with regenerating something. But I think this is more of a commander card than anything else. Unfortunately, one-on-one Magic doesn't have room for the Goblin Chirugian. Is this like a surgeon sort of thing? Okay, second pot is Pashlak Mons. Oh, the red 2 generic 2/2 Goblin Warrior. Whenever Pashlak Mons or another Goblin you control dies, Mons deals 1 damage to any target. Very, very good ability. It's like basically, it's Goblin Bombardment on a creature. Pay a red 3 generic, sack a Goblin, create 2 1/1 red Goblin creature tokens. Also, how does this combo with this card? When you sack a Goblin, you cannot regenerate it. Sacrifice a Goblin. Sack a Goblin, regenerate a creature. Or are you just saying you create a bunch of 1/1s with Pashlak Mons and you can always regenerate everything else? I guess that's the combo. This is insane. It's 3 mana. It makes goblins. I think this is an S tier card. Some Goblin player is happy that I put that here. The Fountain! Goblin Grenade. We didn't do Goblin Grenade. Goblin Grenade is sort of a crappy card that will get you. As additional cost to cast Goblin Grenade, you gotta sack a Goblin. It's always played in these budget decks. And it'll deal 5 damage to our creature or player. Now that is a lot of damage. You know, Flex Tape can fix a lot of things, but honestly, it cannot fix the damage done by Goblin Grenade. But what can I say? It's never played in any good decks. It's always played in these, like, janky decks. So for that, I gotta give it, like, the B tier treatment. It's not worthless, but it's like, it's a meme card, sort of. It's more meme than real. Sometimes your memes become reality, though. Don't let your memes be dreams, people. Okay, Toilet Dock. What is the Steam Flogger boss? Steam Flogger. Steam Flogger! Oh, it's this Goblin thing. Other rigger creatures you control get +1/+0 and have haste. There's not many in the game. And then if a rigger you control would assemble a contraption, it assembles 2 contraptions instead. Not a lot of synergy for the Steam Flogger boss at 4 mana, so going straight to the D tier. Straight to D tier, right beside the Raging Goblin. Whoops. Would Fable of the Mirror Breaker count for this? You know what? I would accept it. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. It makes a Goblin token. This is very Goblin. It makes actually 2 Goblins. So, Fable of the Mirror Breaker, 3 mana, Chapter 1, create a 2/2 Goblin Shaman token. It's amazing that this card actually went through print, because it's like a staple in every single format. If you play red, you play Fable of the Mirror Breaker, except if you're a burn deck. I think that's the only exception. Okay, so Chapter 1, get this. You get a 2/2 Goblin Shaman that when it attacks, it just needs to attack. You get a treasure token. Who approved of this? Then you can discard up to 2 cards on Chapter 2 if you do draw that many cards. Oh, by the way, chapters change after you draw. So you get a little bit more, so you draw like a land, and you get more information about what you want to discard. And then Chapter 3, you exile it, and it's a Kiki-Jiki for crying out loud. Pay 1, tap, create a token that's a copy of another target non-legendary creature you control to accept it as haste. Sack it at the beginning of the next end step. I'm gonna show the reflection of Kiki-Jiki side. This is S tier. Absolutely S tier. This is literally played in every format that it can actually be played. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Very Goblin-like. And it's actually a Goblin creature on the back, so it definitely counts. It's funny that some of these cards, like, you know, Reflections, Empty the Warrens, the Welder, like, these are really powerful Goblins that don't see play in actual Goblin decks. Sort of like how Emery doesn't see play in Merfolk. Saint Yin has Bazaar Trader been on the list. No, it's a crap, isn't it? It's a 2/2/1/1. Target player gains control of target artifact, creature, or land you control. Oh. Does this really have any, like, play to it? Like, if you're giving your opponent something, it's a bad thing, right? But you don't even want to have that thing in the first place. C tier. Okay, some little potential to this card, but feeling it's not really that useful. Wonder what the lore is for Kiki-Jiki. I mean, Mirror Breaker, and then this reflection card. It's like a broken reflection of himself. He was bound to the mirror, and the mirror survived. Alakazam! Goblin Lackey! Is an oldie that will shock you. It will still shock you, even to today. When did they printed that? Oh, they printed it in the secret lair. Looks so weird. Okay, let's see. I want to see the original one. Actually, this one's my favorite, which was the picture I just saw. Okay, red 1/1. When Goblin Lackey deals damage to a player, you may put a Goblin permanent from your hand onto the battlefield. So you better have removal. If you don't, you screwed. But that's actually the crux to Goblin Lackey, is that if you have any removal, well, then it didn't do anything. It doesn't, and also late in the game, it sort of sucks because you don't have any more Goblin creatures in your hand to put onto the battlefield, so it's a very bad top deck. So it's only useful early in the game if it survives. So it's like very high risk, low risk, high reward, but very dubious in value because it's not a very strong creature. Late game and very vulnerable, cannot survive, but I will give it A tier because the risk is definitely the risk isn't too high. Yeah, even if it does nothing sometimes. When it works big. You know, you just put Muxus in play immediately and it's like GG. It could be GG. Your turn 2 wins are supported by Goblin Lackey. Is there a Goblin Recruiter? Oh, Goblin, the super banned card. Red 1 generic. Goblin Recruiter comes into play. Search your library for any number of Goblin cards you choose. Reveal them. Put them on back on your library. In any way. Next. This card's busted. Which one's the Recruiter? This one? No, this guy's the Recruiter. Recruiting. S tier. To basically get exactly what you want for Goblins for the rest of the game. That's insane. Next super chat, we got Fountain, Den of the Bugbear. Insanely good card. I mean, I don't know a deck that wouldn't play this card. So if you control 2 or more other lands, Den of the Bugbear enters the battlefield tapped. Which, I mean, hey, by the way, if you have, like, more lands in play, you may not... Like, once you get to your 5th, 6th, 7th land drop, who cares for the land coming into play tapped. You tap, add a red mana, or you can pay 3 until end of turn. Den of the Bugbear becomes a 3/2 red goblin creature token. And when this creature attacked, crit a 1/1. That's tapped and attacking. It's also still a land. It's one of the best creature lands, actually, in the game for that reason. I think this is an S tier card. I would love that I could pay 4 mana for 2 creatures every single turn. I'm going to squeeze you. Just in case I get more S tier cards. Den of the Bugbear, great card. Let's get one from Chen Fred. Goblin Rock Sled. Or Goblin Snowman. Goblin Rock Sled. How bad is this card? Red 1 generic, 3/1, trample, can't attack if defending player controls no mountains. Well, that is quite the dilemma. Rock Sled does not untap during your untapped phase if it attacked during your last turn. This is stone cold garbage. Stone cold garbage. D for dumpster. To the dumpster. Anna! You get one Anna today? The Owl Bear Shepherd. The hell does that have to do with goblins? It is a goblin. It is a true green goblin. 3 mana for a 1/4 goblin druid. At the beginning of your end step, if creatures you control have total power 8 or greater, draw a card. Whatever. Yeah, I will give it C tier. It's a very underwhelming ability. I don't even know if this would see play in a goblin deck. You're gonna splash green for this damn thing? Okay, Abzo, what the hell is Goro Goro? Does that have anything to do with Mortal Kombat? Goro Goro and Satoru. Red, black, blue for 3/4 goblin human. Whenever one or more creatures you control that enter the battlefield this turn deal combat damage to a player, create a 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token with flying. Oh, hold on, no. So it's basically something with haste. So anything that enters the battlefield this turn deal damage to a player. Okay, so... Oh, but then you can give your creatures haste. Creatures you control have haste until end of turn. I think that's a lot of work to pull off. I don't know how good or bad this thing is. What I do like about this card is if your board gets blown up in Commander, you can refill it pretty quickly. And 5/5 flyers are not bad. I mean, that's the best way to refill the board. Okay, I'll give it A tier. It's a pretty cheap enough commander that hopefully you can pull off this double red thing. Also works with ninjutsu. Yeah, that's true. Play your ninjas in your goblin deck. Next super chat we've got Black Lance Geo. Wart. WRRT. The Raid Mother. Okay, apparently a lot of warts in this game. It's a Gruul 4 generic for a 3/3. When Wart the Raid Mother enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 red and green goblin warrior creature tokens. Each red and green instant or sorcery spell you cast has Conspire. As you cast the spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control that share color with it. When you do, copy it, and you may choose new targets for the copy. I don't know how this card works, so I'm just going to assume it's clunky nonsense. Even though I see that, like, you get the 2 creatures useful to copy your spells, but how many, like, instant and sorceries are you going to have in your goblin deck? Are you going to, like, double your goblin grenade? I'll give it a C tier. I've seen worse. I've seen things. They're terrible. Wart is part of Worthy. Worthy the Raid Mother. Christopher B with Chiron. Flame right. Okay, what is going on here? Okay, we have Invasion of Mercadia. No, not Mercadia. A red 1 generic for a 4. Someone said it's not 4 loyalty, it's like 4 defense. Does it say what it is? No, it doesn't. Okay, when Invasion of Mercadia enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, draw 2 cards. That's not bad. You basically discard 1, get 2. And then if the defense has no more defense, we get Chiron Flame Right, a 3/3 goblin Spell Shaper. 3 mana tap, discard a card, create 2 1/1 blue and red elemental creature tokens. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. I think this is a lot of work for this Chiron Flamewright. Too much work. Weird looting card. Maybe it's worth B tier. I'm gonna put it in the C tier. Kiki Jiki from Steve Cooper. The boss. Red. 2 generic for the 2/2 with haste. So it can tap instantly the turn it enters the battlefield. Create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary creature you control. That token has haste. Sack it at the beginning of the next end step. It combos with basically any, like, what's the roll call here? Like Pestermite, Deceiver Exarch, Restoration Angel. Can't copy itself because it's a legendary creature. There's other combos with Kiki Jiki. Too strong. One of the strongest combo cards in the entire game. S tier. Ultima Power. For how cheap goblins are, there is a surprising amount of S tier cards. That's right. Is there a Goblin Assassin? They only kill goblins? Cyber Paradise? Goblin Assassin. Okay, the red 3 generic 2/2. Goblin Assassin or another goblin comes into play. Each player flips a coin. Each player whose coin comes up tails sacrifices a creature. Oh, it doesn't actually assassinate goblins. Requires RNG. Where's my RNG? And for that, I'm putting it in the D tier. RNG card. Can't guarantee anything out of this damn thing. Oh yeah, I could blink Felidar Guardian. So does that work? Yeah, that works. Blinking Felidar Guardian will work. This doesn't assassinate. Well, it can assassinate. I don't even know if it assassinates anything. Assassinates something at random almost. You have to flip a coin. It's like Two-Face. Like, are we gonna kill someone today? Ding! Comes up, scuffed up side of coin. All right, you die. Doesn't come up scuffed, nothing happens. Okay, next. Let's see. Reunion! Yeah, but with token generation, it is good. Abzo Tarfire. This is actually not a bad card in Tarmogoyf decks. Okay, it's a red Tarfire. It's a goblin. It's a tribal instant, so it's a different type of card type. So if you play this in a Tarmogoyf deck, it will buff the Tarmogoyf for being a tribal card. Okay, Tarfire deals 2 damage to target creature or player. It's pretty underwhelming. Seen better. So Tarfire will get B tier. It's okay. Like, it's okay. I can't remember. You can also tutor for this with Snoop, because it's technically a goblin card. Or not tutor with Snoop. You can tutor with, like, a goblin matron. I think also Bogart Harbinger. Stanel, Goblin Electromancer. We don't hear much from Goblin Electromancer anymore. Gone into retirement. It's a red-blue 2/2 Goblin Wizard. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. The problem with the Goblin Electromancer is there's just too much removal. He's just dead on the spot. You see a Goblin Electromancer, then people are like, kill it! Kill it immediately. And for as long as this thing stays off the board, Storm decks can't go off. But that being said, we have to give respect to how strong this card is. I'll put it in B tier. Theoretically could be A if there were like a viable Storm deck right now, but there just is not. Scott the Dark Knight. Legion Loyalist. What, did we do Legion Loyalist? We didn't do this one. Okay, red 1/1 haste with Battalion. When Legion Loyalist and at least 2 other creatures attack, creatures you control gain. Okay, get this. First strike, trample, and can't be blocked except by creature tokens this turn. It's quite the card. I actually think this is an underrated card. I'm giving it A tier. Unfortunately, it's sort of squeezed out of competitive play because there's just so many better goblins. Henrik, what do you want? Earwig Squad. The Earwigs. What the hell is this? It's a black 3 generic 5/3. Oh god, you guys are gonna... Okay, hold on. I have a feeling you're gonna keep me around with the super chats. Okay, Earwig Squad. Black 3 generic for a 5/3 Goblin Rogue with Prowl. For 3 mana, you can cast this card for its Prowl cost if you dealt damage to a player. So when Earwig Squad enters the battlefield, if its Prowl cost was paid, search target opponent's library for 3 cards and exile them. Then that player shuffles his or her library. I don't like it. But at the same time, I can see it having some utility in Commander if you need to disrupt a combo player. Especially, and it's really sneaky, right? I'll give it B tier. Like, it's a pretty sneaky card. You just deal damage to someone, and they're like, okay, well, take damage, no big deal. And then you prowl it in play for cheaper, so it's effectively a 3 mana card. So I think it's not bad. It's not bad. It's also a 5/3 creature, so nothing wrong with that. Okay, next super chat we got King Ginger. Squee the Immortal. Is this card good for anything? It's a 3 mana 2/1. You can cast it from graveyard or exile. Like, I don't get this card. Is there any combos with this card? I guess you have infinite mana. Maybe it's a food chain card or something. Whatever. I'm gonna assume this is some sort of combo card. If it's Squee Goblin Nabob, I give it D tier. But maybe this has some sort of food chain potential or something. I don't know. I'll give it B tier. Food chain combo? Alright. I got it right then. Even though I don't play... I've never seen a food chain deck in my life in Commander. Okay, that's it. I hope you like the tier list. Did I do justice, Goblin Gang? The Goblin players. I think this is a pretty good list overall. I think it's fair. Maybe this card could be higher. I don't know. But I think it was good. All right, that's it for our tier list for today. Thank you for showing up today. And if you want to be part of the show, what are you doing here, Henrik? Goblin Test Pilot. Okay, this is literally the last one. Goblin Test. Oops. Goblin Test Pilot. 3 mana for a 0/2 flyer. Deals 2 damage to target creature or player chosen at random. Garbage. D tier. Alright, thank you very much. If you want to show up and be part of the action, you got to be here Monday to Friday, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Everyone who's a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you support the show by using super chats during the show. And of course, we got to thank everyone who shows up here in the morning, like King Ginger, Markzilla, Henrik, Liquid Soulfly, Toads, Steve Cooper, Markzilla, Toads. I'm mentioning people over and over again. Trip Fontaine, Nicholas, Abzo, Sten, and Cole. Because without you guys, I'd have no show. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up them coffees, and we will keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.